You're listening to Sudbury News Talk.
I want to show you something.
Stand by.
On the morning shift.
Anything could happen.
Sudbury News Talk on the morning shift.
Good morning, Sudbury. Wow, we sound like we're coming from another planet there. A little bit of a delay. Anyways, good morning and thanks for joining us on CKLU 96.7 FM, Facebook Live at facebook.com/Sudbury News, YouTube Live at youtube.com/Sudbury News. And if you download the Radio Player Canada app, you can catch us anytime, anywhere on your favorite device. Also, if you don't have an app, you can, or if you have Firefox as a browser, you could get on and listen to CKLU on cklu.ca. So you can listen to the show, watch the show, whatever you choose to do, you can do. And so those of you who are driving to work, good morning. Those of you who are at home on Facebook or YouTube, good morning. Facebook monitors, YouTube monitors, also a shout out to you guys. Thanks for joining us. And speaking of joining us, in the hot seat today, we have a person who's been here before, but hasn't been here in a bit, and that's Dave. We're joined by Dave, and we're going to get his camera all set up. And Billy's heading to work. Have a great day, Billy. Billy's on the show. As people that listen and watch regularly know Billy, and so he works, I guess, 3 out of the 5 weekdays, and so he's able to join us at least 2 weekdays out of the week. So anyways, he's off to work, and he'll be listening to us hopefully on the drive in, and hopefully not texting in answer. No, he doesn't text in during his drive, so he's very safe. So speaking of safe, we're going to talk a little bit about some weather. It's a safe topic usually because it's all done for us, and there's usually no controversy in it. And we'll be right back. So as you can see today, we are a high of, currently I should say, 10 degrees Celsius, humidity 92%, and looking for today, we're going to have, today's forecast. We got a mix of sun and cloud, 40% chance of showers. The wind will be its regular 20 kilometers an hour. The high will be 24, but with the humidex, it'll feel like 26. And the UV index will be 8, very high. So tonight, mainly cloudy, 40% chance of showers early this evening. A few showers beginning this evening, risk of thunderstorm late in the evening and overnight, and the wind will be at same 20 kilometers an hour, and the low will be 16 tonight. Now, the long-range forecast, or the extended forecast, is tomorrow, same thing as today. So 40% chance of showers, high would be around 21. Then you got your 2 days of nice and sun, 23, 25 respectively for Wednesday and Thursday. Mix of sun and cloud for the foreseeable future after that for the next 3 days. So 26, 26, 27, mix of sun and cloud. Looks like we're going to have a nice week. And we'll be right back with Dave and some headlines after this. So I know, Dave, you've been frantically looking through the headlines today, and so we're going to be covering, some meaty stuff. I'm just going to go through some of the headlines that we've been covering on Sudbury News. We've been sharing some local news over the weekend. Obviously, it was Canada Day, so even before we get into any of that, did you have a good Canada Day? Did you celebrate Canada Day?
Yes, I had a good Canada Day with friends, and enjoyed it. Yeah. And
who did you spend Canada Day with?
AJ Walsh.
Oh, AJ Walsh, yeah, that was.
And company.
Yeah, and company. We had a barbecue.
Yeah.
So we got a new barbecue. Well, a new to us barbecue, and thankfully it's one of those ones that you can plug right into your gas at home.
Yes, yeah.
So you don't really need to keep getting the propane tanks.
That was all planned, yeah.
And it was all planned. We got it by accident, but it turned out to be perfectly good. Then we had a good barbecue. We had a lot of friends over, some friends that I haven't seen for quite some time, and then some ones that I see more regular. It was a really great. We were up really late on Canada Day.
Definitely, yeah.
Night, like 12:30 or something like that. Usually I'm in bed by 10. But anyways, yeah, we had a really great time. I hope you all had a good time too on Canada Day. Some of our stories will include Canada Day today that we're going to be talking about. We went to see Billy as well on Saturday night.
Correct. Yes.
At the Colson with his band Stone Cold. It was one of his first bands, and it was a good time. What did you think of them?
Yeah, they're great. Yeah, I think that was a good show, and we saw some good lights and effects at the Colson. They definitely stepped up their game with their stage and their facilities there.
If you haven't seen a show at the Colson in a while, you might say, "Oh, the Colson. Oh, I remember that," or it was really rough, or whatever you think. It's really nice in there.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I
really
haven't been there in a long time, but yeah, it's a shock almost.
It's really modern. It's a nice size place. And like you said, the stage has gotten a real huge facelift. It's got a really great light show, and they even have a smoke machine, and just gives a good effect. Like the lights coming through the smoke just makes all the difference, and it's really great. And I guess they have this new thing where they can record not only audio, the bands who play, that they can also do the video with that really nice light show. So if you're a band and you want to get a video made, they can take care of that for you. And it's they use the same kind of multi-streaming switcher that I use for their broadcast. They can get your band to go live and have all multi-cameras and switch and make basically a live music video on the fly, and with really great sound. And so you're off to the races. And yeah, so anyways, shout out to all those at the Colson, Brian and company, that do the sound and take care of all that. And B, good morning. It was really great chatting it up with you guys on Saturday night and talking about Switcher Studio. All right, so I'm not sure what happened to our screen here, so hopefully it just comes right back on. Yeah, that's cool. That's never happened before. It's always good to have things that never happened before that we have to take care of on the fly. And so, Miles, if you're listening today, and anyone else, feel free to make comments in the comments section. So we're looking forward to that. Some of the stories we're covering on Sudbury News, let's just go through some of these things. And we'll refresh this page. We'll get it on. And let's look at this. So what are some of the things we're going to be talking about today? Sudbury News Facebook. Got to get rid of some of these guys because they're popping up. And you can see all my friends here. All right. So this is the meme. I don't even know if we share it now. If you're on our Sudbury Facebook page and you're watching live, obviously you've seen this. I've kept this up just because I get a laugh out of it. It's kind of like self-indulgent. I just leave it up all the time because I get a giggle about it. It's like the Back to the Future, and it's like, Marty, I just came back from 2065 and they're still working on Highway 69. Anyways, whatever. That's my impersonation.
Those years,
There's us. What's that?
You might have to bump up those years, I think.
Yeah.
2165.
Yeah. Maybe. So here's one of the stories we're looking at. So there's a new app that's being made that it's going to keep track of everyone's carbon footprint. And climate change wake-up call pushes teen to create an awareness app. CBC News. Apple show a person's carbon footprint and describe the impacts of climate change. So, yeah, we'll talk a little bit about that. We have some views on that. Here's another one here from CBC. That last one was from CBC as well. So the headline, more homeowners, pensioners relying on community groups as inflation takes a bite out of pocketbooks. More people are relying on community groups in Sudbury for help with food when there's too much month at the end of the money. I think all of us can relate to that to some extent. Here's a Sudbury.com, and Sudbury Star also covered it. So Maple Leaf legend and Sudburian Jim Pappin had died at the age of 82. He was born in Coppercliff. And he also played for the Sudbury Wolves, but the claim to fame that he had was he was the one credited with the last goal that won the Toronto Maple Leafs their last Stanley Cup. And we all thought it was Bill Vrilko.
Yeah.
From the famed Tragically Hip song. Yeah. Exactly. But it was Sudburian Jim Pappin who passed away at the age of 82. Condolences to his family and all of those, I guess, all of Sudburians that, mourned his loss, including us. Now, we covered this on the show before. Yes Theatre, $2.7 million repertorial dream coming true. The outdoor theater will be built on Durham Street, and they secured more funding for that. Outdoor theater to be built on Durham Street secures more funding from upper levels of government. Always good to talk about that, and we get a little chuckle sometimes. Now, as we said, Canada Day, the 1st of July, Friday. I always like when Canada Day falls on, a Friday or a Monday. It just makes for a nice long weekend.
Yes.
And that's what we had. And happy birthday, by the way, to all of our American friends and people that are, that are celebrating the July 4th Independence Day today. Happy Independence Day, July 4th. And if you're in the Sioux, you get the best of both worlds because it's like a border town, and you can get their fireworks too.
That's right.
It's always double fireworks, double the fun.
Sudbury.
What's that?
If you're in Sudbury in the States, you can go to a parade.
Oh, Sudbury, Massachusetts. Yes, they're having a parade today. If you're down in that neck of the woods, they're having a Heroes Day parade / 4th of July parade. So Canada, after Freedom Convoy, the flag took on a new meaning for some. The country is typically awash in red and white on the national holiday, but this year, people across Canada are reflecting on their relationship with the Maple Leaf. Now, again, right, Freedom Convoys, in early in the year, I think it was February, a lot of people using the Canadian flag as a way to show their patriotism in terms of keeping our freedoms and maybe a little protest. So it took on, like I said, a little meaning. A few First Nation joining together to call Canada Day an official day of mourning. So there's a little controversy there. However, a real good opportunity for conversation. Correct. Through the so you have convoy, conversation.
Yeah, it might be a good
conflict.
Switch. Freedom conversation.
Yeah, conversation. I love conversations about things. It's usually the way you get things done. Here's another one. Rainbow School Board achieves 100% Eco School certification. Because we're one of 2 school boards in Canada that have achieved that. This is a very significant achievement for the school board, says the program's manager, obviously. One of 2 school boards in all of Canada to get the Eco School certification. What does that mean? Well, we'll talk about that. And also, did you find filling up your car in the last couple of days got a little bit, cheaper? Then that's because the the province of Ontario took away the fuel tax and the gas tax out of the formula to give us a little bit cheaper of gas. I think we're having around $1.99 or so. Let's just see on Gas Buddy what we're looking at here for Sudbury. For the cheapest gas in Sudbury, you're going to want to usually head to Chelmsford. And but here you have on the Kingsway, we have, let's go back to our full screen here. Kingsway at the Pioneer, it's 196.9. Oh, Canadian Tire 197 in town. LaSalle 197. Petro-Canada at the Shell. Petro-Canada on Regent 197. Kingsway Shell 197.3. So here you go. I guess Chelmsford has been, there you go. Chelmsford's more expensive than in town now.
There you go, yeah.
The tides are turning. They're 198.6, so a full cent more expensive, pretty much. Pretty much. Yeah, full cent compared to Pioneer on the Kingsway. So that's your cheapest gas in town, brought to you by Sudbury News and Gas Buddy. So we're back here. We're going to be, which of those stories kind of got your attention, Dave, out of all the ones we talked about? Did anything come to mind at all?
No, like Pappen was,
Yeah.
something, like you said, a little bit of a surprise. I didn't know much about him, and so yeah, it was nice to to hear that he scored that last goal, and something tells me he's going to help the Leafs this year.
Oh yeah, just the legend of that,
side.
right?
Yeah,
exactly. He's going to be helping out. So he was born in Coppercliff, September 10th, 1939. He spent 2 seasons with the Toronto Marlboros in the Ontario Hockey League. Then he joined the Sudbury Wolves, and he was with them for the 59-60 season. He said although he joined the club in the middle of the season. So he turned pro in 1960, signed with the Rochester Americans of the American Hockey League, then went on from the Maple Leafs, and Chicago Blackhawks announced his death on social media. So he played for the Chicago Blackhawks as well. So basically he was a pretty good hockey player. He was given credit for Toronto's second goal in their 3-1 series-ending victory over Montreal in Game 6 in 1967, the last time Toronto actually won the cup. And line mate Pete Stemkowski deflected it in, but allowed Pappen to take credit for the a contract bonus.
Oh wow!
See, back in the day, that's the integrity that these hockey players had back in the day. His line mates actually tipped it in and scored and said, no. It was basically, if you get that extra goal, you basically have a bonus. It probably made no difference to the other player financially, so he's like, or whatever.
Yeah, and like you said,
yours.
Just the kindness of it and that.
Yeah, exactly. I'm interested in this eco thing, in the 100% eco school certification. What does that actually mean? Inquiring minds want to know. When the Rainbow School Board declared a climate change emergency, so the Rainbow District School Board declared a climate change emergency. Did you know that?
Well, I've heard little bits about it, but yeah.
I thought Greater City of Sudbury declared a state of emergency, climate emergency. I think we did.
Yes.
I think a lot of cities did.
Yeah, well, that's it.
And
We've
so,
been hearing a lot about it.
So the Rainbow School Board also did, and a commitment was made to have all of its schools Eco Schools Canada certified. By guess what year?
2022.
2022. As the school year drawed, to a close, Eco Schools Canada has officially confirmed that the mission has been accomplished. Rainbow School Board is one of only 2 school boards in Canada to have achieved this distinction in the 2021-22 school year. So Clara Luke, who's the Eco Schools Canada program manager, said in a press release, achieving 100% Eco Schools certification is a very significant achievement for a school board. Being a certified Eco School means that a school is committed to environmental sustainability and climate action. What does that mean? For an entire school board to have a commitment for all of its schools signals that there has been a concerted effort to take environmental action. And that is the support and that the support for this important work spans the school community and beyond, including students, teachers, school administrators, custodial staff, support staff, school board administrators, and trustee leadership. That means everyone, Dave.
That's it.
That's everyone. They got everyone
All
in
hands
there.
on deck.
By the numbers, Rainbow School Boards earned 11 bronze certifications, 7 silver, 13 gold, 11 platinum, and 1 remote/virtual school certification in the 21-22 school year. According to Ecos Schools Canada, any level of certification is an achievement to be proud of. It indicates that a school is taking action on climate change while empowering students to make climate-conscious decisions in their daily lives and to share these learnings with their families and communities.
Very good.
Noble cause. Are you proud of the Rainbow Schools achieving this Eco Schools certification, Dave? 100%?
Yeah, I'm happy for them, and yeah, it's something to be proud of.
Yeah.
I didn't play any part in it, so...
No, I don't think so. No, I didn't either. I know I do whatever I can in my own life, regardless of what I'm told from others, to take care of the earth, take care of me, take care of my family in all a holistic way. And that's what I've always tried to do. I don't try and leave places more damaged than I found them. Try and leave them better than I found them. And yeah, so I wonder, so the significance of the certifications, however, is the best reflected in overall impact these environmental efforts have had on the planet by supporting the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. 815 kilograms of waste diverted from the landfill and 41 tons of CO2 emissions reduced from school ground greening activities. So we got the numbers now.
Big numbers.
So if they saved 815 kilograms of waste, they were diverted from the landfill, what does that actually mean? Was it just put in recycling instead?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's something that, a lot of missing details, costs, who's, saying what is good for the environment and not. And sometimes, these methods or, decisions are not always as effective in helping the environment than we might think. But
yeah, because here's one here. In addition, 13 schools participated in actions relating to water conservation. 281 classrooms had their energy efficiency optimized. And 1,828 waste-free lunches were packed and taken to school. Rainbow Schools promoted responsible consumption and production, climate action, clean water and sanitation, affordable and clean energy, and sustainable cities and communities. Environmental education and sustainability is a priority embedded in Rainbow Schools Board strategic directions from 2022 to 2027.
Great.
So they're in there.
They're trying. They're doing what they feel is best.
So water. I want to talk about water conservation a little bit, because I've always thought it interesting that we watched a little documentary last night on the Edmund Fitzgerald. Remember that?
Correct. Yes.
And it was talking about the size of the Great Lakes, the size of Lake Superior.
Yes. Yeah.
So 85% of all the water in North America, fresh water, is found in the Great Lakes.
84%. Yeah.
Okay, about 85%. How about that? That's a lot.
They measured it.
Yeah. And I always wondered, I watched a commercial that said, conserve your water, make sure you don't have too much water. And I always thought that was interesting, because then it was raining outside when I saw this commercial, and I thought, rain is water, and the Great Lakes is water. And when we use water, water goes back to water. And then there's a cycle. Water is here, right? So why do I need to conserve water? So that is a question I have, and maybe we'll have a scientist on the show. It's like snow is water, and we get lots of that every year, but you need to conserve it. don't use too much of it.
I think in certain areas it might be more important than others, but
Yeah. But what does it have to do with the overall like climate issue or conserving issue? Like I said, if I was in Phoenix, Arizona, I would really take this into account because Phoenix doesn't have water.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I think
Yeah.
in certain areas it's,
That makes sense.
yeah. And there's also a cost with our treating water and, like you said, bring it back to usable water.
That is true. So you have to, treat it. So maybe if you're, but let's say I use water and I'm not polluting it. Like I'm just, watering my garden, let's say.
Well, and you're using up all the fluoride they're putting in it. You don't want to.
Oh, possibly. Chlorine too.
Yeah, exactly.
Chlorine and other things. There's chemicals in that. Luckily, we don't use that for our garden here. We just use well water, which is really cool.
Yes.
Now let's just look at this one now. So Yes Theater. Did you know, like, how many theaters do you think there are downtown, if you counted them?
I'd say 2 or 3 anyway.
Okay.
Downtown theater.
So would you consider the Indie Cinemas a downtown theater?
Yes.
Okay. Would you consider the auditorium in Sudbury Secondary a downtown theater?
Yes.
Oh, so there's 2 right there.
There you go.
So there's more than that.
Well, yeah.
Would you consider the downtown movie theaters?
Not as much.
No, a movie theater is not a theater.
Not in the same way.
Seating and everything.
Well, yeah, it's sort of, yeah.
So what is it called again? The one downtown?
Sudbury Theater Center, STC.
No, where we went to see the new Elvis movie.
Rainbow Theater.
Rainbow Theater, yeah. So there's 3 theaters in there, I think. 4.
Yeah, I think there might be 3 at least. Yeah.
And in the STC, there's how many theaters in there? 2, at least.
I went to one show there, so yeah, I know there's one at least. Yeah.
1 at least. Okay, let's say 1 at least. So that's a theater.
Correct.
So the new Place des Arts, they have a 600-seater new theater they just made downtown.
Wow.
The new $100 million Junction East project, that's going to have a theater in it, similar to Place des Arts. Another theater. And now we come to this story here too, right? So now the outdoor theater will be built on Durham Yes Theater $2.7 million repertorial dream coming true. So we have, thanks to $2.7 million in funding from a number of different sources, a dream is coming true for Yes Theater. Shovels are expected to go into the ground next month for the repertorio. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. It's a 180-seat theater being built in the vacant lot next to the former Roy's Furniture. Yeah. You know how they just had that board up there forever?
Exactly.
I like the fact something's going in there, like, to make sense rather than just a big board with people drawing all over it. Anyways, the space will be used as a key venue for the Yes Theater Summer Festival. Alessandro Costantini is the founder of Yes, and he said that the construction phase of the project is scheduled to finish by October, just in time for winter.
Good timing.
Yes, that's what I thought. And there will be a soft opening of the space in the fall with a major opening next spring. He said, I'm very, very thrilled to be standing here, he said. It's quite an emotional day after this little dream became reality. Contributors to the project include the federal government, $750,000 from Cultural Spaces, and $448,000 from FedNor, rounded to about. So $750,000 from the Cultural Spaces federal funding, $500,000 from FedNor, the Northern Ontario Heritage Fund, $750,000. The City of Greater Sudbury, $50,000, and $50,000 from the Tourism Development Fund, and $150,000 roughly from Community Improvement Plan for the city, $200,000 basically, or $250,000. So $250,000, you can round it to there. Downtown BIA, $25,000. Glencore, wow, that's our first private investment out of all the money we just were talking about. $30,000. And Desjardins, our next private investor, $130,000. So you can kind of see how the economic lay of the land works here. We have $750,000 and $500,000 from federal. Northern Ontario Heritage Fund, $750,000. City of Greater Sudbury, $250,000. And then you have your private investors for $130,000 out of 2.7 million, you have private investment $130,000.
Yeah. Well,
So what do you?
5%, yeah.
So 5% private, 95% taxpayer.
Yeah.
So you pay 95%, I pay 95%, and the private sector pays 5%. So what do you think about that model? Is that in terms of we talk about sustainability, right? We just talked about eco-friendly being.
Yeah, I haven't thought too much about it. Just
Sustainability.
off the top of my thoughts, it just seems a lot of money for, like you said, another thing we already have, or we have. I don't know if we're utilizing the other spaces as much as we could be, or so I don't have tons of understanding regarding the issue, but it just seems like a lot of government money that might be used in another way. That
Well, what other ways?
community.
We don't really have any other things that it could be used for, I don't think, do we?
Yes, that's a homelessness.
Oh, really? Oh,
this
that's right,
other
too.
Article we're going to talk about food issues. And
What if this could be a homeless shelter / outdoor theater then?
Well, that's it.
But it wouldn't really be a good shelter because it's outside.
I haven't seen the design yet. I don't know if there's some
Yeah.
kind of building like with 2.7 million. I hope it's not just a stage with some light shows.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. Yeah,
Yeah, well.
Yeah, it's outdoor.
That I haven't seen the design, so
Yeah.
but I could definitely build a building and have a space on the main floor with an area for a theater and have some housing up top that could actually probably continue to sustain the taxes and the cost of running it. So and provide some low cost housing. So
that you would think a lot of people would agree with that kind of perspective. Mayor Brian Bigger described the Refectorio project as, quote, so forward thinking, so exceptional, so creative, that you can't help but think and reflect how creative and innovative people from Sudbury are changing the world.
It's a good positive spin on it, and it could be, like I said, I don't have all the the information regarding it, but just like I said, I know that we have some pretty serious needs in our community when it comes to homelessness, drug issues, different things like that. Security downtown. There's different things that I think I would like to see they're dealing with as forward thinkingly as this. Yeah.
So the name Refectorio, again, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, comes from the Latin word refacere, if I'm pronouncing that word correct, which means to remake and restore. So maybe that kind of idea of remaking and restoring, downtown, it was like, whoa, yes.
Definitely, like you said, that area's been boarded up for quite a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's nice to see them do
something nice is going to go in there. Yes Theater website, you can check that out, and you can also see artists' renditions, the architect's kind of design on there. Trying to see if they have the picture here on the they don't on the actual article, but you can go to their website. Yeah, Constantini said, for these funders to look for at Yes Theater's work and support for the Refectorio project is, quote, not just a tiny pocket of money, but a very significant amount. And yes, he is correct on that for sure. Now you've heard also that Yes Theater and the STC are also merging at the moment.
I have not, but
so they're going to have a home, and now they have a home away from home. It's like a cottage. They'll have like a cottage for the summer with the outdoor theater, and then they'll have an indoor theater with the STC theaters. Or they could use probably the auditorium at the Sudbury Secondary, or they could use a multiplicity of other theaters that are available in town as well.
Yeah.
because there's lots.
Even that Grand Theater, I think, is still. I haven't been in there, but that
Yeah.
was a theater.
It was a theater. It's now like a nightclub. They kind of
Okay.
took out the seats. The upper balcony kind of thing still has seating in there. But
Yeah.
no, I guess Sudbury is now the home of the theaters. That's not the Nickel City anymore. It's Theater City. If you want to see some good theater, you come to Sudbury and we'll put on a show. But I haven't really seen lots of shows per se, but there are shows. I'm just saying I don't know if there's enough shows for the amount of theaters, but we'll have to up our game. We'll have to have just as many shows for the amount of theaters we have. And
Well, I'd say we got a lot
Yeah.
of talented people in Sudbury. Obviously, Papin, did his part, and I think we have.
no, it's not Papin. It's Constantini. Papin passed away with the Toronto Maple Leafs.
That's what I'm saying. Like he
Oh.
was a talented,
Oh, he was a talent. Okay.
Yeah, I think we have a lot of talented people in Sudbury that
Yeah.
hopefully take advantage of these theaters and
For sure.
and develop their talents and
Yeah.
make us proud
Yeah, exactly.
like he did.
Hockey is a theater of sorts on the ice. It's a little different, but we do have a lot of arenas as well.
There you go.
We have a Sudbury Arena downtown currently, which could be a large theater with all of the seating.
Yes.
So we have, if we want to put shows on, man, we got a lot of small venues.
There you go.
Yeah. So
And,
we just need, we can't build the one we've been looking to build, which is the Kingsway Entertainment District for like the last 3 years. That's kind of been on hold, but we're really busy making a lot of other things.
there you go.
So I guess that's good, bad, and ugly all at the same time. We'll be right back with more headlines, more stories right after this. So, as promised, what are we talking about now? The Freedom Convoy. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, it was a big thing in the news, not too long ago, and I guess they went back. I don't know too much of what happened recently, but I definitely believe that we need to stand up for freedom and
Yeah.
do it peaceably, and basically follow the rules as they say. But definitely, I like the idea of people standing up for freedom and trying to make that that right whatever
Yeah.
exists still.
So yeah, this story here is talking about how the flag has been hijacked, and happy Monday to you, Lise. And the flag was kind of hijacked for the Freedom Convoy, and now we're kind of maybe getting back to normal and using the flag again and things like that. Now they were bracing, so it said Ottawa was bracing themselves for the. Ottawa's bracing for a new round of protests, with police saying this Canada Day will be unprecedented and unique, with a never-before-seen security posture for Canada Day. So how do you think Canada Day went? Were they I guess, vindicated in their, thinking that something was possibly going to get out of hand and anarchy in the streets of Ottawa? Or how do you think Canada Day went down there?
As far as I know, it went well. I haven't heard any major issues, but again, I wasn't up on this story too much today. So, but yeah, I think it's a touchy subject. As far as being authoritative on our free our right to gather and celebrate. But I guess better safe than sorry, maybe.
Yeah, I guess it all went. There was no incident. Everything was fine, and I knew that. And so the news was like, they're bracing for something. Get ready, and nothing. Like I knew would happen. It was very peaceful, and so just like the first one was, there was a lot of hype that there was a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah.
Mind you, it was basically like an occupation of sorts in that they stayed there a long time, and it was inconvenient for a lot of people. But at the same time, if you were the organizers of a protest, you would say mission accomplished. Good job. That's what you were protesting. And so you actually did what you were supposed to do. You made it a little uncomfortable for people to take notice, and they were not able to get a meeting with the powers that be in Canada to voice their opinion, which...
That's pretty sad, yeah. To me, like, you're a servant,
Yeah.
You work for us and you won't meet with, a large group like that. That, to me, is not...
Yeah.
There's no reason for that whatsoever.
And there was a lot of demonization from the powers that be currently in Canada too, saying that this was a small fringe group. They don't share the views of many people. And as it got known that there was more and more, they just dug in their heels more and more and said, no, we're not speaking to them. No, they don't agree with us. Why would we speak to them? You're not allowed, you shouldn't speak to people. This is a threat to our democracy and I said, threat to our democracy? I thought democracy was speaking to people.
Yeah.
Who's the threat to democracy here? The ones that want a conversation or the ones that are refusing?
That's it, yeah.
So to me, I was like, it was a real wake-up time for me, and I hope it was for a lot of other people.
Yes, definitely. To me, it's just like I said, they're paid to serve us, and even if it's a small fringe group or whatever, you do the courtesy to speak with them and try.
Other small fringe groups, he meaning Justin Trudeau, got totally on board with them.
Yeah.
And said he supported them. They were more small and fringe than the protests, the people that were involved in the protests there in Ottawa. He had no problem with small fringe groups then in speaking to them.
Yeah.
He just kind of picked which ones he wants and which ones he doesn't. I think you need to speak to them all, right? And so I don't say, no, he shouldn't have spoke to the ones he chose to. I think, no, you choose to speak to them all because they're all Canadian.
Correct. And
they're all Canadians.
they pay your salary, yeah.
That's right. And we're in a climate now where, there's a lot of people that are not too happy because inflation is on its way up. We're not getting paid really anymore. And that brings us to our next story. So we'll be right back after this. Northern Ontario community groups stepping in as inflation erodes pensioners' savings. So there you go. That's the kind of climate that we're living in now. Use of food banks up with a significant rise in number of homeowners looking for assistance. The Claude Gervais of Sudbury Lives on a Pension says, Claude Gervais of Sudbury lives on a pension. I thought he was representing a group of something. So anyways, he lives on a pension and says that the end of the month, there's not much left over to purchase life's necessities. Sound familiar, anyone? After paying his rent and vehicle expenses, he has about $100 left for food and other items. Hey, come on, $100. You can buy a lot for that, can't you?
No.
Oh.
That's ridiculous.
Okay. That's including gas to get my cancer treatments at the hospital. So, between parking and gas, I can't afford to live, Gervais said. Prices noticeably changed around the beginning of the pandemic. So another quote, Gervais says prices went from acceptable, now it's almost double since the pandemic was over. According to Statistics Canada, inflation is now at 7.7%, the highest it has been since 1983. Good year for music, not a good year for the economy. And now we're worse than that. So 7.7% inflation. Now, if Zach was on, he would be basically giving us some kind of formula, 3 books that he just read on this subject. But 7.7% inflation, the worst since 1983. I don't need to be a rocket scientist to know that that's not good.
Yeah, guaranteed their pensions didn't go up 7.7%.
No, yeah, exactly.
I mean, it's just sad. To me, there should be some kind of focus on these retired people and the small pensions they're getting and how they can sort of
yeah, exactly,
manage. But at least there are these organizations like the food bank and whatnot, so we definitely need to support those as best we can. Obviously,
for sure,
times are tough, so everybody has to take care of the things at their family, but a little sacrifice can actually bring some blessings, and in your own lives. And
Yeah, like there's always a silver lining to things. Learn how to budget differently and whatever. But again, there comes a point when you run out of even money, and it's even impossible to do these things and pay for just the necessities of life.
Good for society, because it can put people in a desperate situation where they make decisions that are actually going to cost us a lot more than giving some help up and
exactly,
and loss of their buying power.
Like we were just talking about some big projects going down. $2.7 million. Most of it is our money for the outdoor theater. It's our money. We didn't decide to do that. You have $100 million library plus art gallery plus, a little theater in there. $100 million going in as we're talking about this. It just seems very polarizing for some reason. But I really appreciate someone who's just a regular person. He's getting cancer treatments. He's on a pension. He's just saying what he's going through instead of some kind of spin or someone giving a bunch of, economic facts and figures and all these things. And he says, because the price of fuel for the truckers, this just goes to show how just common sense. And he goes, truckers have to spend more on gas. The stores have to make the money back. So they increase the prices. And then everything gets increased. But he says, but they don't think about us guys that are retired and what we have to pay. So no one's on the other end going, wait a minute here, no one can afford that. So what are we going to do? To make ends meet, Gervais has been relying on community groups like Better Beginnings, Better Futures. It's very, very helpful, Gervais said. They don't even know you, but they talk to you like you're a part of the family, which is really nice to see in the Sudbury area. So again, opposite of our leaders talking to people, right? Our leaders say, no, we're not going to talk to you. Whereas here's these helpful people designed to help. You would think politics was there to serve. Like you said, they're there to serve us. I don't think that's the case anymore. I don't think they feel that. I don't think that's the culture that our politicians and politics is there to serve the very people. I think once they get in, now they're in, they just kind of go with the flow, do what they want. I think their people they're serving aren't the people. I think the people they're serving are the corporations and the higher ups and the oligarchs and the ruling class, if you will, the ones with bigger voices, bigger pockets, bigger wallets. Those are the people. I don't know. You can disagree with me at any point here. You can jump in and say, Aaron, I think you're wrong.
Well, no, I think there is obviously some aspect of that that's true. I think the squeaky wheel gets the grease, and people that are in their face and sort of pushing certain projects and their objectives. And so this gentleman obviously is doing the right thing, coming out and letting people know about this situation. I think more need to be behind this situation, because it's probably going to get worse. It's not something that we're seeing.
No, we're not seeing a trend where
gas went down a little bit, but it's like.
But that's just because they gave us a little break on the tax. They're already charging us
still
basically
like double what it was like a year or so ago. Like it's just their pensions are not keeping up with those those types of increases, and to me,
like you said, the squeaky wheel does get the grease. But watch this. I'm an oligarch. I am someone of influence. I'm somebody with money, and I have more money than the politician has, right? So the politician's looking up to me going, oh, I wish I had your money. Okay, now there's a call from person I wish I had more money from or than, and he wants to speak with you. It's your secretary. Oh, yeah, speak. Yeah. Hey, person with more money and influence than me that I'd like to climb the ladder to get to know. Yeah, would you like to go up for lunch? Hey, where, when? How about this afternoon at whatever restaurant? That's how easy it is for those people to be squeaky. Now, if I want to be squeaky, I can't go, hey, you want to go for lunch this afternoon? They're going to go, who are you? What are you? Like, why would I go for lunch with you? You're a fringe nobody. Right?
I believe you're correct.
I am correct. Ding, 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 ding.
Maybe not every politician, but
You know what I mean, though.
Yeah.
So again, squeaky wheel, we think everyone has just as much of a say with your vote. Sure, you vote and they're in, but I can't call and say, let's go for lunch. And then when I go for lunch, what do? I be a squeaky wheel.
yes.
Squeak, 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 squeak. And then grease, 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 grease. And later, I got, the person to listen to my point of view, and now they're doing it. And then other people become fringe. You don't think that one person in that restaurant is fringe? One person is fringe. When you have 100,000 people, that's not fringe. You know what I mean? But they'll never word it like that. But the one person can get their way because they have that influence. More than 200,000 people have influence with one person's money and prestige and position in society. So they have more influence on that politician than hundreds of thousands of people do. So that's the way it rolls.
Yes. I think it's just like these better beginnings and futures people, people like that care, that really want to make a difference and lessen suffering. And it's great to want to entertain people. It's great to want to show, art or whatnot. But really, like when you think about it and you're going down on your nice pillow and you had a nice meal and someone maybe a few blocks or whatever miles away from you is sleeping on a curb or, doesn't have, 3 meals that day, like.
Exactly.
And you were able to put a project together that,
I know.
Played some music, whatever. I don't know. To me, it's like, I just feel.
What I think is we should do is gather up all the homeless people and entertain them with one of these shows.
There you go. Get
all the arts community together, and I love them. I'm covering my heart right now for the people on radio. I'm an arts person as well. I've been a musician my whole life. I love acting. I'm an artist as well. I do everything art. I love art. I also love people, and you do too. Everyone loves people. However, I think, let's say if we had one show, and it was just for the homeless. And while we were on stage, whether we were singing, whether we were acting, whatever we were doing to perform, and you were to look out into the eyes of those people, you'd probably just want to get off the stage and say, hey, how about we just grab something to eat right now? And let's take care of your basic needs first, like you said.
Yeah, to me it's a concept, good, better, best. I learned that in my faith, and it's just, it's good to have theaters. It's good to have.
I know, there's nothing wrong with that.
But
to have best. 20 theaters?
Well, like again,
20 theaters within 20 kilometers?
Exactly.
Do we need that? I don't know. Do we want that? Some people do.
Yeah.
But I don't really think there's a need to have 20 theaters. When we have all those crosses downtown with all the opioid deaths in town, and we have more people than I've ever seen in my life living in the streets in this city, and then we bring in the safe injection site to make it safer to inject them with the things that is causing them to continue on that road. I don't know. Where are we? What are we doing? Why are we doing it? These are the questions we're asking today. Anyways, so again, here's another quote from Gervais. It says, they're helping with clothing that people need and food that's donated from the community, from different companies, from different stores, and it helps. And so Genevieve Givens is the Community Resources Coordinator for Better Beginnings, Better Futures. And they say it's the group that offers emergency food services, nutritional bag of food and hygiene items sourced from local food banks, designed to last an individual or family for a minimum of 24 hours. So again, this is where some people are living 24 hours, just having enough each day, and maybe not even that. So these great organizations are taking care of what I don't even think there should be that type of a need in town for them to take care of if our system was doing what it was supposed to and designed to do from the beginning.
Correct. Yeah, I think obviously they're doing good, and there is some improvement with the homelessness issue, and people are trying to do the best they can. But I think we as a community can improve and like I said, do something that improves the lives of these people that are really struggling with so many issues, not just food, not just there's mental health issues, there's like you said, the drug issue, and so I think we can all do a little bit more probably to help in those issues and make the community a little more whatever. Positive to all human life kind of thing. That's exactly right. Yeah, we all affect one another. When I drive by, stop at the light and see these people looking for some help. I stopped. I was just right at the light, and this young man was by the light. I don't usually talk about this stuff much, but he had a sign that his brother had just died, and he needed to get to Timmins. Yep. And he needed $40. So I gave him the $40. I said, you go ahead and you get to your family and that kind of stuff. And it's not much, but basically to me it was. I just felt that urge to help one person. A little bit. And
some people might have said, "Why did you do that?" He probably wasn't really needing to go to Timmins and whatever. But
100%, yeah, exactly.
You and I think share the same belief on this, and that is whether or not that is the case. You gave that opportunity, and if that was the reason, you were able, and so you did your part on your side, and that was then up to him or the person to take that money and use that for that purpose. But that's so again, this whole comment is not going to get on. This is from Jerome. Basically, he said was in Ottawa for the lockdown. Basically, it was a military style lockdown, and said basically that's where the tax dollars are going.
Yeah, that's
and was kind of disgusted at the police state type of way to manage people who were, I believe, peaceful from whatever I was able to get out of the reporting out of it. There were no incidents of violence really until police kind of came in, and then there was some violence. Yeah. Other than that, there was no violence. So I think by and large, us as a country, us as human beings, we're very loving, we're very giving. We are, but sometimes things creep into our systems that really should be kind of like invasive species. And if it's anything but kind and wanting to serve and help the people of the country, the ones that are funding the operation, it should be kind of gotten rid of.
Yeah, well, we know there's certain truths like power corrupts, absolute power corrupts absolutely. So there's certain things that we need to watch out for, and I think there's some checks and balances. But if we had a clear budget to show where we spent everything and what our priorities were, and I think there would definitely be a lot more people in shock, at how much we spend, like you said, on a day of security in comparison to what we spend on some really serious problems.
So with that, Dave got the last quote of the day. Power corrupts, but absolute power corrupts absolutely. And so thanks for commenting, guys. Thanks for being with us. We'll see you same time, same place tomorrow. And thanks again, Dave. You're very awesome. So thanks for being with me today and filling in for Zach. And you're going to hopefully be on the show more regularly too, even whether you like it or not. Okay. Thanks, everyone. Thanks for having us. We'll be back with you same time, same place tomorrow. Have a great one. Ciao.
This is Sudbury News Talk on the morning shift.